Hey future teachers, how are you? Quick question. If a student told you their new sneakers were fire, would you correct them? Or even if they say their weekend was lit? As English teachers, we are going to hear a lot of these kind of words that it isn't in our textbooks. And it's not a mistake, it's a linguistic variation. Understanding it, it's a big step to connecting with our students. Today we are breaking down the types of variation, starting with one of the most fun, how age shapes the way we speak. It's called age grading or generational socialic. I have to be clear, it's not our slang, it's a powerful maker of identify. For example, the language of a teenager is very different from their parents' dialect. It's about a social belonging. Imagine a teacher trying to be cool. Hello fellas, how are you? How it's going the activities? It feels very strange, right? But when a teenager says the exam was brutal, I'm going to ghost my bed for a weekend. That is a valid code in their group. Our job as teacher it isn't to erase this code, but we add some standard English to their toolkit so they can code switch effectively. So we can say that age is a huge factor but not the only one. Where we come from and our social context background plays a massive role too.
Linguistic variable in the classroom. Let's begin with the variable gender. Gender refers to the way language use may differ between boys, girls, and students of diverse identities. In the classroom, gender can shape communication styles and participation. For example, some studies show that girls often use more collaborative language, supporting each other and asking questions, while boys may prefer competitive or direct speech. As a teacher, our role is to avoid stereotypes and give equal opportunities for everyone. One strategy is to design activities like debates or role plays where students rotate responsibilities. In this way, every learner practices both leading and listening, regardless of gender. Now let's connect this with the variable socioeconomic level. This variable refers to the difference in the students' access to resources such as books, internet, or private tutoring. It strongly influences how much exposures and practice they have with English. For instance, students with internet access can watch videos, listen to music, or use apps every day, while another students without those resources may only practice English during school hours. Here, our responsibility as a teacher is to reduce the gap. We can share pre-printed materials or use the group projects where knowledge is exchanged and provide equal chances for practice inside the classroom. And in this way, students from all backgrounds feel supported and included.
Socially. Socially refer to the way people speak according to their social group. Factors like age, profession, education, or socioeconomic backgrounds can influence vocabulary and pronunciation and expression. As teachers, we need to recognize this difference and reflect them in the classroom. Classroom example, for example, imagine two students describing the same things. A student from a working class background means say, my dad works in construction and he fixes houses. Another student from a professional background means say, my father is an architect and he designs buildings. But the sentences talking about similar jobs, but the language refers their social context. As teachers, we should validate both contributions and help the student expand their vocabulary without judging their social lives. Register. Register refers to the level of formality we use depending on the situation and the audience. We would register when talking to a teacher, a classmate, or when writing an academic essay. Knowing how to write register is an important skill in English learning language. Classroom example. In class, I students may say to a friend, hey, what's up? Can you help me with number 5? But when speaking to the teacher, the same may say, excuse me, could you please explain number 5? But are correct, but the first one is informal register while the second one is a formal. As teacher with the same role plays where students practice switching register according to the content.
Two important concepts for the social linguistics: code switching and regional variation. These are very common in the English classroom, and as the future English teacher, we need to understand they support our students. And the code switching happens when someone uses two languages in the same conversation.
Told me that to my dad, right?
Yeah, I saw his dad in the hallway and I was like, we're going to Skiatigo. We're going out.
And then he came to me. He's like, "엄마, 저 한국어 like, yeah, pasó and like,
This often occurs in the classroom when the students are learning English. For example, during the reading activity, a student named Juan may say, I finished the exercise, pero I didn't understand the question. Number 3, mixes in the English in the Spanish in the one sentences. Another student may Maria say, can you explain this word, teacher? Porque I'm not sure. Teacher can also code switch when displaying a difficult concept, whether start the English but briefly use the student field languages to clarify. And this is wrong. In the factor, code switching can help the student feel more comfortable, understand better. Teachers should animate the student and they use more English and to build more confidence. Well, in the regional variation refer to different in the languages depend on the region. This is different and can appear in the vocabulary, pronunciation, on the accent. For example, in American English we say elevator, but in Brit English people say light. Born at the current, they use belong to different region. In Ecuador, students can pronounce English word with explain song as the teacher is the important to respect this difference and to show the student that accent or region variety and there is natural understand and help aids include the motivator.
Hi, to continue with the variables language use, let's explore how teachers and students choose different word and structure depending on the situation. Understanding this is essential for creating effective and inclusive communication in the classroom. Language use refers to how we select words and structure to communicate in different situations. In the classroom, this is very important because the students and teachers constantly adapt their language depending on the purpose of the interaction. For example, a teacher may use clear and simple instruction when given directions. Please open your book on page 10 and complete the exercise 3. This is instructional language use. But in another moment, the same teacher may use language to support a student emotionally, saying something like, don't worry, you are improving every day. Another example is how students use language different depending on the context. With the teacher, they usually choose a more formal style. Could you please explain this exercise again? But their classmates, they are more informal. Hey, what's the answer to number 5? Finally, and no less importantly, let's discuss language styles. This variable focuses on the personal way we express ourselves, which can influence students' emotions, motivations, and engagement in the classroom. Language styles is the personal way in which we express ourselves. It can reflect formally, creative, or even cultural identity. In education, language styles has a strong impact on how a student feels during the learning process. For instance, a teacher who always speaks in a straight and distant style may create an atmosphere of tension. Students could feel nervous to participate. On the other hand, a teacher who uses a warm and supportive style, saying things like, excellent job, keep going, I know you can do it, builds a safe environment, students feel confident. We also remember that the styles can change depending on the activity. An informal presentation, a more academic style is required. But during a group job, a friendly style is more effective to motivate collaboration.